Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Game Chat. I'm Chris, and with me today we have Corey.
Hello.
I did that like you, even though it did the opposite way. I was just like, but yeah, today's topic we're going to be talking all about Avowed because I've just finished it. Corey finished it about a week ago.
About a week ago, yeah.
A lot longer than I expected it to be, and a lot longer than I feel like the developers said it was going to be.
Said it'll be, yeah.
So, but yeah, we're going to get right into it with... So how long did it take you to beat, Corey?
In the end time for me was 65 hours to
Let's
beat the game. Yeah.
65 hours?
Yeah.
Mine was 52.
Yeah.
But like,
I did lots of exploring, and stuff. But they said it was like a 25-hour game.
Yeah, considering they like tied it as like a 25-hour to like 30-hour game, I was like, oh yeah, I'll get this done real quick. And I was like still playing it. I was like, this is going on long now. I mean, I wasn't complaining. I was enjoying it, but I was just not expecting it to be as long as it was.
It's good though. It felt well paced, and there was always stuff to do, and the exploration in the game was very good. We're just talking very surface level at the moment. We don't want to spoil anything.
We'll do like what's your like top level thoughts generally?
It was a good game. It's a lot of RPGs that come out these days are guided like this. We don't get very many like Skyrim or Witcher 3 style games anymore. This is a more guided adventure, which I think a lot of games do these days. But it's good. It's great. Like you're playing as the envoy from the Adirian Empire.
Adirian Empire.
The Adirian Empire. You come into the living lands sent by the Emperor rather, in order to come and find out what the deal is with the living lands and find out what's going on and find out about this illness that's been going around, and that's basically the very start of the game. Yeah. And it's a good time. Like there's a varied amount of choices that you can make that do affect the endings. And you do feel like you've made a difference depending on what you've chosen throughout the game. The companions that you get are great. The combat is way better than I thought it was going to be.
Yes, I agree with that. The combat is
it
10
felt
times better
really good. When you saw it, like when I saw it being played, when you saw it on video, it looked not good, to be honest with you. A lot of the magic and stuff, and you actually playing it felt really good. Like that combat system, whatever they've got going there, is something they need to carry on forward because it was really good. It was really nice. The game is beautiful as well. The game is graphically fantastic. Like it looked a few times. I was just looking at stuff and thinking that this looks really good.
More art style than graphics, in my opinion.
Absolutely, yeah. To be fair, it's going to hold up for a while. This game will. I just had a good time. I had a good time with this game. And I got a good amount of time out of it, especially with something on Game Pass. What about yourself?
I really enjoyed it. It took me a while to get into it. I feel like for the first probably about 5 to 10 hours, I was like, this is okay. Like, I feel like the first area doesn't really do itself any favors because I feel like the first area is not the best area. Like, obviously, the other areas you go to are way better, in my opinion. The first area kind of felt like a really long tutorial to me.
It did feel like it, because especially when it's like you're still like learning stuff, and I did spend a long time there trying to like find every nook and cranny. But there's mechanics that don't become aware of until later on as well. And it's a huge tutorial area. It really is. It's a good way of putting it. Because it's a pretty big area. Like the entire games that are smaller than that area.
And I had an issue at the start of the game where, in terms of combat, and I think this was before the patch, and I think the patch that they did fixed this, but I found that like a bunch of enemies I was always finding, even though I was doing a bunch of like side quests and stuff to level myself up, just seemed to be a little bit higher level than me for some reason, and I couldn't understand why until like obviously they patched it and they gave us like extra.
They gave everyone extra points.
Extra XP points, like per so many levels you went up, and then as soon as that patch came in, I didn't have that problem at all. So I don't know whether that was like a thing that a lot of people were struggling with. and
I think it
it
was. I
fixed it.
actually, when I first started the game and I saw how much you were getting every level, like you only get one every 2 levels or something like that. I actually installed a mod that gave me more,
So you fixed
and the
it
mod pretty
yourself.
much. I fixed it myself, and the mod pretty much did exactly what the developers did in the end.
Did that
So
like double your points when the patch came out? Then?
no, actually minus a load of points. I ended up with
Oh,
minus 24 points, but it was
Jesus.
at the literal very end of the game when I
Oh,
was
okay.
already max level, so it didn't matter. But if that happened to me halfway through the game, I would have been absolutely screwed. But yeah, I ended up just doing that myself at the beginning, and just making and it felt much more natural then.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
yeah.
I think that the way that they were doing the points initially was way
I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought that
too
because like
sparse.
it just felt a bit like at the start every fight was kind of like a little bit of a struggle, and I was like, what the hell's going on here? It shouldn't be like this because I'm doing every side thing I come across, so I should be leveling up
Yeah,
pretty quickly. But it
yeah,
just wasn't matching it, and as soon as the patch came out, it was fine. So like I feel like with the first area being a very tutorialized and very not the best area in terms of like how it looked and how interesting it was compared to the other areas. And with that combat thing, it kind of like put me on a downer for it for the first few hours, and probably about I don't know how long I spent in the first area, but 8 hours probably something like that. And I was just like,
yeah.
but I carried on. I stuck with it because I heard it got a lot better. And I definitely think this game is the kind of game that gets better as you go on.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like it's one of them as opposed to a lot of games where they start really good and then kind of taper off. I feel like this was the opposite way around, where I was enjoying it more the more I played it. That was probably because like your choices come into like fruition about what's going on and what you've chosen and
yeah,
stuff like that, which I think is a strength of the game. I think a lot of the choices do kind of change what's going on throughout the whole story, and I'm looking
yeah.
forward to getting into that with you in terms of what the opposite choices we did and stuff and what changed.
Hmm.
Um, but I think the strength of the game is definitely the exploration.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, for sure.
like
Yeah,
you can
loads.
just
It's
walking
rewarded as
around.
well.
Yeah, you walk around and you just like you see, oh, what's that over there? It's like a cool building. I'll go and look in that. And it's like not necessarily a story thing. It's just like environmental storytelling and stuff like that. And like you
Yes,
get loot and
yeah,
stuff, and you're always constantly getting stuff to upgrade your gear,
yeah.
which I love, especially after they patched it. So my gear actually felt like it was doing what it should be doing. But yeah, in terms of combat, I think that's also another strength. Once it worked for me.
Well, yeah, it felt matey. Like when you hit something, you got the hit stop, and it's like
Yeah.
it just felt good. It just
What
felt really good
what
in the
build
magic.
did you go with?
So I ended up with because you can swap. You can have two builds, two things, two hands, basically.
Mhm.
So on the first one, I had a grimoire and a single-handed weapon,
Mhm.
and that just changed to whatever the best single-handed weapon I had at the time was.
Mhm.
And then on the other hand, I had the arquebus.
Mhm.
And that was honestly for like a majority of the game. I went like that, and I just swapped out stuff for when it was better. I ended up with the greater elements grimoire. And I got that in the first area, and that's one I used for the whole game because it had the
Yeah.
spells I really liked using. So it had like the area of effect spells, like the fireball and the one that's on freeze people and stuff as
See,
well. And I used that for the
I
whole
didn't
game.
use any magic, so I'm actually is the magic good? Because I didn't use any of
The
it.
magic, the magic
I've
is
heard it's very
very
good.
good. The magic is very good. Yeah, it's very good. Especially if you've leveled up your stuff to match it up. Yeah, it's very good, and you used it a lot of times. A
Mm.
lot of times.
See,
Yeah, it was my main go-to. I could run into an area, and the first thing you do is pop magic on
mm.
everything, and then start swinging. Basically,
I went with a relatively basic build, but I had sword and shield, and then an
yeah,
arquebus on the other one. Even though every now and then I had a pistol because I found a better
yeah,
pistol than the arquebus, so I just changed the pistols. But yeah, I went sword and shield. The sword and shield combat's actually quite satisfying, like with the parries and the blocks and stuff like that.
when
I
I
think
replay
I
it,
was
I will
quite
play shield
impressed.
because I like parrying in games, and I didn't touch shield at all
No,
in this.
shields are pretty cool.
I was a dodge king for sure,
Yeah.
just flying
See, I
everywhere.
barely dodged. I just took the brunt of it with my shield and then attacked. But I love parrying in games and stuff like that. So like that was a bit of me with the shield. And once you upgrade some stuff on, I think warrior class. You can have like a shield bash, which you can push them back and stuff like that. So that's really cool. I found myself like I didn't particularly like it allows you to not choose a class. You can just put any points anywhere
into anything. Yeah.
And I found myself putting it equally as much in ranger as warrior. But I assume you put more in magic and stuff.
Well, it's still pretty equal between the three. There's a lot of stuff like in the warrior one where it depends on you having a shield. So that was just all that stuff was ignored entirely.
Yeah.
And then I put a lot of points into single-handed damage. I filled that out.
Yeah.
And ranged attack damage as well for the arquebus. And then I upgraded the individual spells. The way that it worked with magic is that you could get most of the spells from a grimoire, or you could learn them manually and cast them manually yourself. But if you put points into the spell, learn it yourself, and then use the grimoire with that spell, it puts the spell up to the next level when you use the book with it as well.
Yeah, because I heard that when you have a wand and a thing, it levels it up.
Yeah. So you don't need the wand. I never used the wands. You don't need to use them to cast spells. You just do it yourself. You say the spell and it happens. So that's what I did. I upgraded the spells that I was using most of all, so the fireball and the ice and things like that. And it was a pretty even split in the end between everything that I had. Yeah, I ended up at the end just like with nowhere really to put the points that I had left. So I ended up I didn't touch health or anything, so I just put the rest in health.
See, when I had loads of points left at the end, that's when I was putting them into health and stuff like that. Because I was like, I might as well.
Yeah.
I don't know where else to put it. Actually.
I didn't find I was struggling with health in the game. To be fair, I very rarely went down in combat. And when you do go down in combat, you get the you can come back with
the second wind thing. Yeah.
So I never really struggled.
I found once I got Giarta, which we'll talk about later, companions, but once she was there, I was like, well, I'm just never going to die now. And she just automatically heals you when you're low anyway.
She's just a healer, exactly. She's just a healer. That's not her main attribute is that. I didn't use her at all, to be honest. I swapped her out. After her quest bit was finished, I swapped her out immediatally.
I used quite a lot.
That's the same again.
One of my favourite powers in terms of combat was, for me, it was you slide. I can just I think it was in the ranger tree where you slide, but you take people out as you're sliding. So literally, if I can get them all in a line, I can literally take them out like fucking bowling. It's so funny.
Because they all ragdoll as well, don't they? It's pretty good ragdoll physics in this.
So they all just stunned on the ground, and after I've took them out in the line, it's great. Some of the stuff you can do is pretty fun, and it's a very active combat that you feel very involved. It's what I would want a future Elder Scrolls combat to be, but I just know that's never going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
it's made by obviously the guys that made it's Obsidian, isn't it? So they made Fallout New Vegas and stuff like that. So they're used to making these sorts of video games and Outer Worlds and things like that. So
Outer Worlds
it's very much more
wild.
I know. Yeah, it's crazy.
Obsidian don't mess about, do they?
They must have multiple teams. They must have because they're both very big games,
100%.
And you can see how this came from Outer Worlds much more than it came from something like the New Vegas and stuff like that.
Something I will say about it, you can tell it used to be a multiplayer game, like a co-op game. It has a lot of that, DNA still kind of left in it, and you can tell they kind of pivoted to being the single player game. Yeah. I mean, I don't think playing it. I don't think it would have been a bad co-op game, to be honest. But
no, it'd been fine. Yeah, it definitely lends itself to, because the RPG elements and things. It lends itself to more of a single player.
Yeah.
Single player thing. They could probably just left it with an option to have co-op and stuff.
I wouldn't be surprised if PC people get on the mod to mod co-op into the game. I would not be surprised.
It's with this sort of game, with the engine that it's running, it's difficult to do that sort of thing. With this sort of thing.
Dragon Age Veilguard went through a very similar situation where that was originally multiplayer, and they kind of pivoted, and you can kind of see the DNA left in that as well. But obviously, they're not going to be out. Apparently, this Avowed started again 4 times in its whole development cycle. So obviously, they're going to take things from their previous build, because I'm not going to start fully again. So it makes sense that it's going to have some of that DNA in it. But I think they've pivoted it quite well. It works very well as a single player game. I do find some of the companion stuff a bit lackluster, which we'll get onto in a bit with the later two companions more than anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
One of them's my favourite. My favourite.
Well, I mean,
Kai's my favourite. Kai you get immediately. Kai's just the best.
Kai's just Garrus in a fish skin, which I'm not
exactly
complaining about. Like that's a good thing.
It's exactly that. And he was my companion the whole game. I didn't swap him out once for anybody.
Did you use their powers much, or did you just let them do what they wanted to do?
I let them use the. I did in our experiences will differ as well because I installed a mod for companions, which called Better Companions, which let them use their own powers.
They do still use them.
They still use them, but it lets them use them as you'd expect an actual person to use them. To use them more often, basically.
Okay.
So I didn't really use their powers much. I used them when it was like the when you're traversing the area and it's like, this
use
thing needs fire to take it out.
Yeah,
exactly. That sort of stuff. But actually in combat, not really, to be honest. No.
Okay.
Let them do their own thing.
I had them mapped to you got the D-pad. I had one of say I had Kai with me. I had one of Kai's powers on the left, and then one of Marius or whoever else on the right.
Yeah.
But I feel like that works for me because obviously I'm sword and shield. I'm not using that much magic powers and shit like that. So I feel like if you're a magic build though, I feel like unless you're playing on a mouse and keyboard, which I don't know, did you? Because I played with a controller.
No, I played on the mouse and keyboard. You got a lot more options, but no, I did play on controller.
Because I was thinking on mouse and keyboard, you'd have a lot more hotkeys to kind of press to get to.
You can use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8.
On controller, it's a bit because you have to press the thing to get the radial wheel up, and it's the whole thing. It slows the game down because especially with the combat feeling so fast and stuff, it's like, I've got to press this button and completely pause it to just do this, and it's annoying. But so that's why I kept them on my hotkeys, but it kind of limited what I could do. I did write notes while I was playing. I just want to see if there's anything else I wanted to say on combat. I think the variation of weapons and stuff were cool.
There's a decent amount, and there's a decent variation within each subsection as well. With the additions that each one can get, and some of the stuff can get pretty crazy. I
had a flame sword.
Yeah, you get that pretty early on.
Yeah, and I kept that for the majority of it until the end when I got this because there's a quest you can get special metal and you can take it to the last area and they can build some stuff for you. And I was just as soon as I got those stuff, I was like, well, I'm fucking off my flame sword, I'm fucking off the arquebus I had before, and I have both of them. But it's like a moon sword or something. It was cool, man. But,
I kept the arquebus from that, and then the other one was was it a great sword or just a sword?
Just a sword. It was like a moon sword.
It was a sword, but it wasn't as good. I was all powered up in maces and axes.
Yeah.
So I ended up using a mace for most of the end of the game. After leveling everything up as well. What did you think of the upgrade, how to upgrade weapons and things like that?
I think it was good. I came to an issue at the end where when you go into the garden. I won't say too much about the garden until we get onto it, but when you get into the garden, obviously there's nowhere. You can upgrade your stuff if you have the parts, because you need money after a certain point of upgrading. And I just ran out of money at that point, and I was like, well, I can't upgrade.
Okay.
Here then.
Because we won't get into it, but you can't.
It was a bit that was the only roadblock I fell into. I was like, oh well, fuck. But as soon as you get out, you can get money again and do it again. But I fully upgraded all my stuff by the last bit, but that was a bit annoying. Other than that, I think the upgrade stuff was good. It's just literally any other weapon I picked up, I was just breaking down into its parts just to throw stuff into my upgrade stuff. But I thought it worked well.
Yeah,
definitely felt very MMO-y, the upgrade stuff.
It did.
You can tell that's
getting materials and things, exactly, and the levels of weapons and things like that.
Yeah, very Destiny in terms of what levels they are and stuff like that. Yeah,
it is a bit MMO in that regard. I do agree with you. But I think a lot of games are going that way because it's recognisable now to a lot of people.
Yeah, every game has RPG elements now. Every single one.
Yeah, pretty much. pretty much.
Even feet.
What else before we can get into like spoilery stuff?
In terms of exploration, I really like
Yeah.
the loot kind of making that little noise so you know that you got all the loot in the area before you leave.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. I like that because like the amount of times where I'll just like go to leave an area and I'm hearing something, I'm like, nope, gotta stay, gotta find it.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. You can hear a little twinkle basically of
Yeah,
and you can hear that from quite a distance away
yeah,
a lot of the time. So you know you're going to be close to something in order to pop it. So that they encourage exploration with that because you just be walking randomly and hear that and be like, oh,
yeah,
there's
yeah,
something here,
yeah.
and there's so much stuff to pick up. There's crates under everything, little lock
Literally,
boxes under
I never like
everything.
unless like you know those little crates you can break. I never did
Yeah,
that unless it was like shining with like a red or a thingy because there's something in it. Like I was like,
yeah.
what's the point of hitting all these crates otherwise? Apparently there is a skill on the
Your
warrior
health.
thing where if you just break crates, you get health back. And
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
I
I've got
guess that I guess
that.
that's what that's for. I guess for break while they're all there to
Yeah.
break.
I had that, and yeah, you just get health and extra health. Like, you can
Okay,
stack up on health as well. The way it works. So if you're fully healed and then you break one of those crates,
it's like
it puts
gives
like
you
a
like a
cooldown on
shield.
health that you can use later.
Ah, okay,
It's
that's cool.
weird. Yeah, it's cool. It is cool how they added that sort of stuff. Like thinking ahead with that sort of thing.
Hmm. See what else I written down before we
Um,
move on to like
yeah, good.
warriors. I think the worlds were really well. Well, they were very varied. Like the four different areas you went to, and I think they were very well done in terms of design. Um,
Yeah,
like literally, like there's one area late in like the third area. Won't say too much, but like once you get into it, like there's like ice sculptures of like people, and I thought that was
yeah, it's
so
really cool.
cool. Like that
That was really
was
cool
such a
when I saw
cool
that.
area. I was like that's really good environmental design. Like
Yeah.
whoever designed these areas, well done, because they're
Oh
very
yeah, brilliant. They did a
very
brilliant job.
cool.
The world designing and the environment building is really strong.
Hmm.
Really strong. There's a few
I,
places you go to and you're like, whoa, this is really
yeah,
cool.
and I think just generally the universe they have going with this because it's the
Yeah,
Pillars of Eternity universe, I believe.
Pillars is
Uh,
Pillars Universe, yeah. Which I've not
which
played.
no, has this game made you want to play it?
No,
No, they're saying
no. It's not. They're not my sort of game.
it's
They're not my
very
sort of
Baldur's
game.
Gate
Like the
from
way
what I
that they
hear. So
play.
it's one of them where I'm
Yeah,
like, maybe I'll jump in because I
yeah.
did enjoy Baldur's Gate, but like it's not going to be anytime soon.
It's not my sort of
I
game.
definitely prefer this kind of style of combat and stuff.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
but I think the world they've built is very interesting. I did find at the start of the game it was a lot of like exposition dump on you in terms of explaining how the world works
mm,
and all that. But I did like the feature of the little glossary where you could see what the
yeah,
little
yeah. You can
words mean
text every
and
time.
what they're
Yeah, and
actually
bring it
talking
up.
about. Because sometimes you listen to what they're saying, you're like, I have no idea what the
What
fuck
is
you're on
that?
about.
What are you talking about?
And
Yeah.
that made me laugh later on in the game because when you're in the dwarf area and people were saying like their versions of swear words, and then you click on the little glossary, and then it shows you this means like shit or bastard, and I was like, this is so
Yeah.
funny. But
No, that
I
was
thought that was
cool.
cool.
I'd like a lot of games to incorporate that because and then it gives you all like the history of the text as well. Because sometimes
Yeah,
you miss something or you need to refer back to something,
the dead
and it's
fire.
like it's gone. Yeah, like the
Yeah,
Deadfire, and obviously like from what I know, Deadfire's a big thing in Pillars.
yeah. One of the games about
It's
the dead fire, I
referred,
think. Yeah,
yeah, and it's referred to a lot in this game, but obviously we don't know what it is. So they
yeah.
constantly tell us about it and constantly tell us how it's this massive event, massive war that happened.
Mm.
And it's like, yeah, you're just trying to get as much context on that situation as possible without actually knowing it because it's from a previous game series that you've not played.
Yeah,
But it helps a lot having that contextual
yeah.
button to just press at any time and be like, this is what this is
More
about. This is
games
what
need
it's for.
that. Like, because I think the only
Yeah,
game
they do.
other game I can think of that did it was Final Fantasy
Final
16,
Fantasy.
and like
Yeah,
it's so useful for just explaining the stuff so that
yeah,
you
yeah.
don't necessarily have to listen to like you know
In these
like
days of short
in-depth
attention
YouTube
spans, we
videos.
need these.
Yeah,
Yeah,
legit.
exactly.
What else did I have? I wrote so much about this game. What did you
Yeah.
think of like conversations and stuff? Like how they went and the choices you got to make in terms of like what you could say and stuff. I thought it was quite varied. I thought
It was quite varied, and you could put very different personalities to different situations. Most of the time, if I had the option of going for my class set option.
Yeah.
Like, the class that I chose, I pretty much always went for that because I thought
What class did you
that's what my
choose?
character would do. I chose the Count Augur, which was like the
Okay,
spiritual leader of
interesting.
the spiritual advisor to the Emperor. Yeah,
See, I was
because
basically just went
it's not some.
Ranger dude.
You see, it's not something that I'd normally pick. That's why I went for it and
Yeah.
thought this would be interesting. And it gave me some really interesting, like, outcomes to some conversations. It was a really cool one, and I managed to like put aside a lot of fights and things because of that. It worked out well. But yeah, the dialogue choices. Like, I always knew that the dialogue was going to be a strong part of the game, because of who's making it, and they've always been very, very good at that sort of thing. And you always get the option of, like, if you're in a conversation about it, you always get the option of like leaping into attack or trying to defuse a situation or working out something in between, like compromise with something.
Yeah.
They do that very well. They do that very well.
I feel like you definitely have a lot of agency in terms of how your character is and how he's perceived by people. Because you can literally choose, like, there's like the top options normally like the good option, and then you can be a dickhead at the bottom, but like there's like 5 or 6 options most of the time, like between that. So like there's like a lot of variation about how extreme on to whichever level you want to be, kind of thing, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, I mean, should we move on to just general story maybe?
Yeah, we're getting to spoiler territory.
Yeah, should we do companions first?
Sure. So Kyle's the first one you get, and Kyle's just the best dude. It's like he's my favourite character on the entire thing. But he's the most fleshed out companion as well. Like,
best voice acted as well, in my opinion.
he is, but we all know why that is.
Yes.
As soon as I heard his voice, I was just like,
"It's Garrus." It's hilarious because like Garrus is like Kate's guy in Mass Effect. So whenever she's like pottering around the house while I'm playing, and she just hears like the Garrus voice, she was like, Garrus, is Garrus in the room?
But he's brilliant. I like he's pretty much a straight like combat when he's in combat. He doesn't have anything like the other people have additional stuff. He's just like all about the fight. He also has the most side content of any of the companions.
There's 2 that I feel.
He has the most side
content. But
for sure.
I feel like
not including stuff like other companions have stuff that has to do with the main story.
Yes,
and they're linked in with the main story.
An issue that I will get to.
Whereas he has actual side content that you do not need to do, and he has more of that than any other companion, for sure.
I feel like with that, I feel like Marius has the same amount, but he's in a short. It's like his is done in a shorter section, but just faster. Whereas I feel like
one after another, isn't it?
Whereas I feel like Kai's is more just spread out across like a few areas.
He does.
So I feel like they have the same amount of content, but it's just a bit more succinct for Marius.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Kai, brilliant. Fishman, got the voice of Garrus, Heart of Gold.
Yeah.
Always
the voice of reason as well when you actually do. When you ask for their advice.
It was a very logical, like, soldier sort of point of view on things, because he used to be a soldier back in his homeland before he left that. But yeah, cool guy. What do you think?
I thought he was great. He's just like the lad, and he's the one who's like.
He's the bro.
He's the bro. He's the good guy. He's your best mate in the team, basically. I feel.
Yeah.
And like I say, he's the voice of reason. He's the one who makes a lot more sense when you ask for their advice. He's like, "Oh, you're the one that makes a lot of sense." Whereas a lot of the others go with a lot of emotion.
There's a couple of points towards the end of the game though where I did disagree with him.
Yes.
And I had to like make decisions against him. But we can get onto that later. But yeah. For most of the game, I agreed with him until the very last point. So I was like, I can't actually go that way anymore.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, the next one we get is Marius, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do you think of Marius?
See, I hated him at first. I thought he was an absolute. He was a cunt.
Marius is a whiny little bitch.
Marius is so much.
All he does is moan, and then you find out later like what it's all about and why he has like trauma and things like that.
And I kind of grew to like him at that point. Afterwards,
but at the beginning of the game, they did not did
No.
not set him up to be liked very much at all.
No.
He was such a mopey guy.
Yeah.
Um,
He was like
that as soon as I
the.
got another character, I immediately swapped him out.
I don't know. He was very. He's a very stereotypical like dwarf character in kind of like fantasy RPGs, in my opinion, where he's the miserable guy with the tough outer shell. But once you pierce that in terms of like his like story and stuff, he kind of opens up a bit more and he becomes a bit nicer.
He does.
And that
I'll
definitely
be
was his
perfectly
arc.
honest. Yeah, I really didn't like his accent. I just didn't like his voiceover.
I thought his
I
voice
didn't
acting was
like it.
quite good.
Okay, no, that's unfair. You're right. Yeah, so the voice acting was fine, but I just didn't like the way he was being portrayed. Like, and I just didn't like his accent, like a super American accent coming from a dwarf. And then later on, you find out that that's not even his accent. He just lost it when he left the Dwarven Kingdom.
Yeah.
It's like, and all the other dwarves sound like cool as fuck, like normal dwarves.
Yeah.
So what is going on, Marius? What are you doing? You're like this
He's
bush
trying to
guy. He sounds
distance
like he just came
himself
off
from
Wall
his
Street.
people that he had to leave.
It's ridiculous.
I kind of felt sorry
I
for
don't
him at
like
the
it.
end with his story, though. So it was one of them.
Yeah, I used him for the time you had to use him, and when you went back to his homeland, because you had to.
Yeah, I
while
used
you
him
were
in that
there,
area
yeah.
for the majority. Yeah, makes
Yeah,
sense to have him there because he
but other
knows
than
most
that-
people. Like,
Yeah, exactly. But other than that, I didn't use him at all. To be honest, I swapped him out immediately. I know he's got some cool abilities like the treasure find thing, and the snaggle root thing that.
yeah, that was really handy, especially when you fully leveled that up against like the bosses, because it's got a bleed thing attached to it. If you get a boss in that like stagger meter basically just goes straight. Constantly up. It's great. Like that's the most useful power that he had by far.
Yeah.
The only one really that I used for him, to be honest.
Yeah, and he's probably the one that my character disagreed with the most as well of all of them.
Oh, see, not for me.
Because
mine was one of the later ones that hated me, and I disagreed with the majority of the time. But we'll get onto that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. You got any more to say about Marius other than this crazy?
I hated him. I hated him at the start. Grew to love him. I think he was one of the better ones by the end for me. And I think me and talking about Kai and Marius, I think them two are the most fleshed out. Mainly because you have them longer, but also they're the only two with companion quests, as far as I know.
Yeah,
which is a bit weird. I feel like that was kind of something that they just didn't have ready for the launch of the game. They didn't have the other two companion quests ready, which just feels.
I was literally playing the whole game, waiting for them to say something.
Yeah, I was just like,
and nothing came up.
Okay. Fine, I guess. I mean, they are more entwined with the story, like the main story. So I guess that's it. But like, I don't know. It just was a bit of a letdown, unless they do like DLC and that's their companion stuff. Maybe that's the route they're going, but like I don't know, it just felt a bit let down for them too in terms of not having their companion quest, because I feel like the companion quest for Kai and Marius allowed you to get to know their character more, whereas I feel like you didn't really get that with the last two, which is a shame.
Yeah.
But we can move on to Giata now, I guess.
Giata, she was fine.
I don't have much to say about Giata. She's the healer.
A lot of people stuck with her because she's the healer. Yeah. And if I struggled more with health, I probably would have used her more. But I really didn't struggle with health at all, so I didn't end up using her very much, to be honest. With her being an animancer and her story's fine about her parents and things like that.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Everyone's got trauma somewhere.
Yeah.
And they depict that a lot in this game, is that everyone's got like personal traumas that they're dealing with, and like how it's affected them as a person, some more than others. And yeah, she was fine. Like she gave like a scientist's point of view on stuff. But I didn't really use her, to be honest. Like I used her when I got her in that area. But other than that,
I used her for a decent amount, obviously in her own area when she got her, and like for a bit after that, and as she was a healer, but like once I realised I didn't really need to heal too much towards the end of the game, I was just like, well, I'm just going to change to Marius again, because he's got that bleed thing, and it just does more damage, and I was like, I'd rather have the damage over the heals because I don't really need it, and I had like hundreds of fucking health things I was just not using. So I was like, I might as well just use them at this point rather than have her with me. She was like, in terms of like when you ask for her opinion, she's very like you said, scientist with it. She made a lot of sense a lot of the time, but sometimes she was a bit emotional on one side in terms of like certain things that happen in the story. So I was just like, you're too like attached to
Involved.
this like part of this to have a like a logical opinion on this in terms of like
Come on, what you saying? At that point. I agree.
But she was fine. Like I don't have anything against her, but like it's one of them where it's like I feel like she was not used much generally. So
I feel like she'd be a very useful companion to someone who doesn't play games very much, or someone who struggles playing games, because she holds you up a lot. Holds you up as a player a lot. Rather than doing things like attacks and stuff. So she can keep people going if they're struggling with the game, which some people do. You know, not everyone's going to be a hardcore gamer at the end of the day. So she's probably useful in that regard. But as a character,
and I suppose maybe if you're
of them all.
If you're a full like attack mage,
you're
probably going to need a healing mage with you. So that makes sense as well.
But I think she's the least fleshed out.
Yes and no.
Of the characters, like you find out about her parents and stuff, and about other characters around her. But I
don't think she's the least fleshed out.
Connected with her the least.
I think
I connected with
the next one. Is it Yaxley?
Really?
I think she's the least fleshed out.
Yaxley?
Yeah.
Really? Okay, so are we going on to Yaxley then?
We'll go on to Yaxley.
Yeah, Yaxley's my second favourite character in that game.
Really?
She was great. She made me laugh. She made me laugh on so many occasions. She was.
Was it the sexual innuendos that did it?
24/7, like she's just chucking them out, and I was in stitches the whole time, having jokes. Me and Yaxley had some like humor, sexual tension going on. It was hilarious.
Didn't you find her accent annoying? Because it was so annoying.
Not at all.
Not
at all, man. I think she was great. I honestly think she was great. And her as a companion, if you level up her spells, she does the most damage of anything.
She was like when she can drop that meteor on people and shit like that. Her damage was ridiculous. Like especially about on bosses. She dropped a meteor on a boss once, and she literally took out half its health. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's the only reason I come with me sometimes, just for the damage output.
Yeah, and like and when she kills enemies, she does that creepy laugh, and like, it's great.
Yeah,
she's just. I really enjoyed Yaxley and her story stuff. So she's linked very closely to Giata.
Yeah,
basically raising Giata with the guy's name.
Quillinchi.
Yeah.
That guy.
With the
guy with the very like Italian accent.
Yeah, everyone from that town seems very Italian. She raised him with her with him, and then you meet her much earlier than that. You meet her when she's trying to find like a vase off of a godless ruin, and from there, like I knew she was going to be jokes the whole time, and I'm glad that I got her as a companion.
See, I found her accent annoying, but also like this might just be a me thing because I'm scared of fairies, so that might be a fight or flight thing for me. I don't know, but it triggered me. She looked like a little fairy gremlin, and I didn't like it.
She did look like a little fairy gremlin. You're right, and they mentioned that like they say, don't you and Quillinchi get like odd looks in public because you're like they're together, they're an item. And she goes, yeah, but who gives a shit?
Quillinchi's a little freak,
and she's older, I think.
Yeah, she's like an older lady.
They live.
Yeah.
Yeah, they live a long time. Those I forget what the species is called. But they live a long time. Yeah.
They look good though in terms of like graphics and the hair and stuff. They look.
Oh yeah, all the characters look great. But the companions, there's a few questionable like NPCs out in the wild, but the companions all look fantastic.
Yeah,
the companions all look fantastic. Like she's really detailed. Look, she's obviously extremely like covered in fur. She got a burn on her arm when she hurt herself. She's cool, and you find out stuff later on about her. And there's like some major decisions that she has to make. Like she's the one that has to make the biggest decisions of any of the companions. She is. There's no other companion that has to make major decisions like she does.
I guess depends where you put her. I guess where
Yeah,
you decide to put her.
you obviously influence the decisions that she makes. But she gets some major decisions later on in the game. And what did you do with her? Because we're in spoiler territory now. What did you do with her
At the end, like where deciding where she goes.
Where did you put her?
In the library.
I did the same.
Yeah. Okay.
I did the same.
Because I didn't trust the Archmage lady. I was like, I ain't giving you her with her. Like, that's dodgy. She's like seems a bit evil. So no.
Yeah, she did seem a bit evil. Well, I didn't get the impression she was evil. I just got the impression that she was just not good. Like she was morally.
She's morally very. Just didn't care about anyone.
Vague.
Like,
she's there. She's there to learn about the magic,
discovery,
and she's not there for anything else.
Yeah. She seemed to be there for the discovery rather than. She didn't care about how much her discovery damaged people and stuff like that. I mean, we'll get into... Before we get into that, I just want to talk about the 4 different areas. Like, what was your favourite area in terms of... Because obviously that's sort of spoiler territory with what they are, but like, what was your favourite area out of 4? Was it... It's 4 areas? Oh, 5 if you count the
4. Probably the second area, to be fair.
I think the second area visually was very impressive.
Yeah.
With all, like,
it was very fleshed out, and had a lot going on. It was a massive forest, wasn't it? And
it was like the lights coming out the plants and shit like that. And it had,
it looked really, really cool.
Lore-wise, I think it was the most interesting in terms of lore because it has all the animancy stuff. And like the bringing the dead back to life, the farm and stuff like that. I thought that was a really cool idea.
What did you do? What did you give the lady a body?
Yes. Wait, my body. Wait, my body.
Your body?
No, I didn't.
Did you not get the option?
I don't think I got the option. No. Did you get
the lady that has a dead body. Oh yeah. She gave me 900 gold, and I told her that when I die, she can have my body and turn me into a revenant. And the whole rest of the game, then every time you speak to her, she goes, yeah, you're going to be mine soon. She was like, oh, you're going to be great on my farm. You get an achievement for that. I didn't know. I didn't even miss that. That's cool.
Maybe I don't think it came up for me, so I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have sold her my body.
You get to, yeah. She goes, do you want to? Can I have your body when you? Can I have your body when you're dying? You're like, yeah, fuck it, go on then. What am I going to do with it? Oh, that's great.
I like that area. I thought that was most like interesting lore-wise. I think visually, I really liked the Dwarven lands. I thought that looked just really cool.
Okay,
with the volcano and everything in the background. I thought, and the garden and stuff. I thought like that was the most cool-looking area. Although I did like the pirate area. I thought that was cool as well. I just think the areas as you went on just visually looked very distinct and they just got better as you went on the areas. I believe
they're very different from each other. Yeah, which was good and like they're all large areas, very fleshed out areas. Tons of exploration to be done. The map was a bit messed up at times. Like there's certain times where it looks like on the map you can go somewhere and then you just can't.
Yeah,
and I ended up having to after looking for ages. I ended up just going online and they're like, oh yeah, you just can't go there.
It's
like the map looks like you can go there.
Yeah, it's not one of those maps where you look at the map and you know in like most games you can fill out the whole map in terms of where you've been.
Yeah,
it's kind of like you got this little like spider leg going that way. It's like it's very like the middle you can fill out and then it goes off in like. Just imagining a spider leg.
It's the second area.
Yeah,
the second area. Where on the bottom left corner, there's a bridge and everything, and it's all on the map, and you can't go there. But the game can't go there. But they've put it there, and they've put the fog of war on it, and you're like, I've tried for so long to get there, to then find out you can't do it.
I think it was the second area. In the second area, you know the tree person. Is it Delamain? Is that what they're called? You know when you go and get the heart or whatever.
Heart. Yeah.
What did you manage to get? I managed to get in that whole place without killing any of the other tree people, and she just gave it me. Did you do that?
Yeah, she does. Yeah. No. So I killed loads of them, and then I got there and I convinced her to give it to me without fighting.
Even though you killed everybody.
Even though
did she even bring that up though?
Yeah. So you can go a few ways. So you can you have the conversation with her, and then she goes, "Oh, you can have the heart," but then she's like, "Oh, but you killed so many of my dudes. Fuck you!" And then she starts attacking you. So you get in a fight there. but if you have certain checks, you can get by and be like, oh, I was only defending myself. Like they attacked me.
I mean, which is true if they do attack you.
They do just attack you on sight, and she's like, "Do you know what? That's fair enough. Yeah, you can have the heart anyway." And that's the one I end up going with. Yeah.
Okay. See, I just snuck in, went through the bushes, got to her.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Yeah, I don't need this. There you go."
Yeah.
I was like, "Cool."
Did you get the power, the magic to go invisible?
I did later on, and I didn't even know I got it because it's like when you get the I had a bit where you get the second wind.
Yeah.
At that point, after I don't know how I even leveled it up. I don't remember kicking it, but I got it, and then as soon as I got second wind, I went invisible. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, okay.
But because it does something to the it puts like a sheen over your screen. I was like, I have no idea what's going on. I hate this, but I didn't know how to get rid of it, and it lasts for so long. And I'm like,
it lasts as long as your essence lasts. Yeah. That just makes any stealth encounter just ridiculous.
Well, I can imagine.
You're just completely invisible. So you literally walk past everyone. It's insane. But yeah, managed to get out of that. There's loads of little stuff in the game like that. Tons of stuff like that in the game where you can get away without having a fight if you don't want to. I ended up reloading that one and killing her to see if I got anything good from killing her, and you don't. Oh. So I ended up going back with the old one. If I killed him but got something good for it, I was like, actually, do you know what? It might be worth it, but no.
The good thing about what I did is afterwards, you can just walk around the area and none of them attack you, and you can just loot.
Yeah, you can go back.
Like, cool.
So I go back there to get one of the because the totem pieces.
Yeah.
There was one there, so I had to go back there, and I got back in. Yeah, no one's attacking.
Did you get all the totem pieces for all the different areas?
I did, except the last one, the last area.
I didn't even finish.
I forgot to do it. I forgot to do it before I went back to the garden.
And then it just completely stopped.
And then I just didn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
See, I was like, I don't have time because obviously I was trying to. I literally finished it yesterday, and I was trying to get it done for this, and I was just like, you know what, I don't have time to go do these things. It's fine. And to be fair, but going back and getting them would make no difference where I was in the game because it just gives you a boost in like.
You get a little bit of story because you hear from the god's perspective, don't you?
Okay.
Every time did you fill any of them?
I never filled any of them out, so I wouldn't know.
Oh, okay. So when you do complete one, it gives you a window into the god's realm, and you get to listen in. You can't take part, but you can listen in on a conversation that they're having for that particular god whose totem you've completed, and you get some extra lore from that. It might be worth you going back and just doing that just to hear what they have to say, because you get additional stuff, and you get some stuff that can affect story elements as well, because when you're talking to Sapodel, which is the name of the god in the game, the unknown god, the new god, the trapped god, whatever you want to call her. You get to bring up stuff you heard in those conversations at points, saying that this is not true, or that this god said this about you, or stuff like that. So it can affect stuff in minor ways. So it might be worth it going back. If you've got one where you've got most of them, just got a complete one and see what that's like.
Okay.
But
I've deleted the game, so maybe I won't, but I could get it up.
I've literally reinstalled it today in order for this, because I'm going to get some screenshots of my character and stuff. Yeah.
Cool. Send them my way, and I'll put them up on the video.
I will do. Yeah.
Was there any other major decisions in each of the areas? Because I know that was.
But each area had major decisions. The one that I want to know what you did is in the second area.
Yeah.
Did you find the camp in the cave of the steel garrote?
I did.
No.
I did find them.
Did you find? Did you not get in there, or?
Fully by my own fault, because I forgot they were in there. So I meant to go back and just kind of kill them all, but I just kind of forgot they were in there, and then shit went down that I was not happy about. I was like, oh fuck, I fucked up, guys. So what happened to you in that area? So
I went in there and I spoke to people at the door, and I was like,
I did that
on the envoy, and they were like, nah. And I was like, fuck you, I'm going to go in anyway. And then everyone turned hostile.
Yeah.
So I killed everyone without knowing why they're there. And you find out a little bit more later on. And you find out that they were planning to attack the town, the city.
Which they did for me.
And they did for you, yeah, exactly. And And if you do go in there and kill them all before the actual final battle in that area, they don't burn the city down.
Yeah, they burn the
And
city
they've
down
got
to a
shitty
crisp
forces.
for me.
And yeah, no, they don't do it. So for you, was that city out then? Could you not go back
You
in?
can go back into the city now. It's completely burnt. They all move out into a camp outside the city.
Yeah, no, it's all there for me.
So are they still living there for you?
Happened. Yeah.
So they all move to fucking Thirdborn for me.
No. So they all do move. Sorry, they do go to Thirdborn because there was an attack coming, but the city is undamaged. It's absolutely fine, and I didn't find out that was like such an effect that was going to happen until much later on. It was really cool. That's a pretty major difference.
Such an effect on how Giarta feels about obviously the Edwin and the Garrote and all that. Like any excuse where she's like, we gotta fucking kill them. I'm like, all right, chill. I know they burnt down your city because I completely forgot they were in that room. But chill.
Yeah. We have managed to avoid all of that. So there was a final battle still, but then everyone was commenting like, why were they so shit? Why was the Steel Garrote so weak? What happened?
Did you find the warden or the ranger that betrayed the rangers to the Steel Garrote?
The ranger that betrayed the rangers to the Steel Garrote?
No. Yeah. Did you not find? Okay, so there was, did you not find that there was a whole side quest where you had to find missing rangers, and then one had betrayed.
Yeah. Oh yes, sorry, I did. I did. She was like next to water, wasn't she?
Yeah. Did you let her go?
Owned up to everything at the end. No, I put that bitch. She had to go.
I was like,
you let her go. You crazy.
I was like, you never come back here. Like, point my sword, you go. And you never come back.
No. There was options in the game where I was like, I'm sorry, but you're beyond. You're just beyond saving at this point. Sorry. Yeah, but she let multiple of her own squad die,
that is
and I was like, wow. If you were just like doing some sneaky shit, then fair enough. But you literally like killed multiple of.
What I thought was really cool about that,
irreparable.
You can find like the missing rangers and stuff before you even get that quest.
And, I did that.
And it works for it, where it's like it makes sense for the story. You're like, oh no, yeah, I already found this guy, kind of thing, and it works for the story and it makes sense. So like that's cool.
Yeah. I just happened upon a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, so much.
Because I was going around exploring loads of stuff. That's how I found that cave with people in it. Just randomly, like nothing pointed me towards that cave. I just found it. And then I went in there. I was like, okay, then that's pretty cool. I wonder how that's going to affect the game. And then a bunch of those rangers I found. Like I already had the mission to find the rangers, but the mission area was somewhere completely different to where I actually found them. I just ended up happening upon them, which is obviously much later down where the quest line would have been.
Yeah.
The game just worked it all out, and it worked out just fine. It's quite cool. It's nice that they let you do that, because some games, like what they'll do, they wouldn't even spawn it in until you've got that point in the quest. Whereas this just lets you find everything from the get go.
Yeah, which I think, cool. I think that's really cool. Makes sense because it makes it feel more lived in, like it's all happening around you at the same time, kind of thing.
Exactly. In that area, because when you leave that area, and you encounter the Steel Garrote at the gates.
Yes.
Yeah. And you see that there's one of their captains are there. You talk to them. What did you do at that point? Yeah. What did you do?
She let me past.
Did she?
Because she goes, oh, you let her. You didn't do anything. You didn't let her warn them about our little army. I was like, not on purpose, but sure.
Yeah, Christopher Lemon, the best friend of the Steel Garrote. Oh, that's what happened. See, I got there, and she was like, she gave me a letter.
Yeah, she gave me the letter.
Gave me the letter, which I did not forward. I did not pass on. No, I didn't. I did not do that. But she gave me a letter, and then I was like, well, and then she let me past, and I was like, yeah, but you're gonna die anyway, so I killed her.
So you killed her there. Oh, interesting.
I killed her there.
So later on, when you go to find their group in the last area, she's guarding like the front bit, and she's got like the Dream Scourge and stuff. And you can either persuade her to get in, or you have to fight her. I had to fight her in the end, but like you probably just walked in then, I guess, unless there was another guard there, maybe.
What area are you talking about?
You know when you go to the last bit with. Well, I don't know. It's the last bit for you. You know when you go in to meet to find where the Steel Garrote is in the Dwarven area, and then meet with Lodwyn, and she's like, give you like an ultimatum about what you got to do with Sapodel. You remember that?
Okay.
So you have to go through all the cave system before you get there.
Yeah.
So before you get into the cave pit, she's there guarding the entrance.
Okay.
Is anyone guarding the entrance for you?
Just a generic Steel Groot.
Oh, okay.
No, she wasn't there. Yeah, she wasn't there.
Okay.
But yeah, I killed her at that gate, and you get some good armor from her, I think.
I did, but my armor was way too good.
Yeah. That letter that again, because I didn't give it, so I don't know what was in there. What did that letter have?
Basically warned Birdborn that the Steel Garrote would come in. So you probably should have given the letter.
It didn't make a difference because they were like, I was like, they're coming, and they were like, okay. So they just took my word for it. So it was
missed
fine.
a big decision. Going back to the first area.
Yeah, go on.
What did you do in terms of that guy? Because obviously the guy killed you.
I let him go.
You let him go.
I let him go.
I fully let him go.
I let him go.
Okay, so I didn't kill him. I didn't let him go. I just left him to justice.
What do you mean? You gave him to the city?
Gave him to the city, and then he got executed. So when when you find their group in the second area, were they really nice to you then? I guess because I walked in and
they were,
a lot of them had a lot. They didn't attack me, but a lot of them had a lot to say.
There's one of them because some of them don't like that guy.
Yeah.
They see him as like a fundamentalist, and they were like, "Oh, I understand you let him go, and I appreciate that," but he's a crazy guy, basically. But yeah, as a whole, they were absolutely fine with me. I had no problems with them whatsoever, and I let him go because I was like, obviously, I didn't die. I came back, which is very lucky for him. But he was like, when I had the conversation with him, it was more like you could tell he was very desperate, and they felt like they were in a desperate situation.
Yeah.
And that me going there and even having a conversation with them, like, made it very clear to them that I'm not a threat to them and their city, because they were trying to do it to stave off the Adirian Empire from taking over the city. But I just made it very clear that that's not what my deal is. And I thought, like, it would probably be very useful later on in the game to have some assassins on my side. So I let him go. They didn't do shit for me, so no. Yeah. I thought, like, in that final battle, this is obviously skipping ahead, when everyone gets involved.
Were they involved?
Everyone that you've made good friends with gets involved, basically. That I thought that they might be there, but they weren't. Or if they were, I didn't see them.
In the second area, did you get a guy come up to you and go, "We're watching you," or whatever? Like a bunch of. I had so many times where someone just goes, "We're watching you," and I'm like, "Where the fuck's this guy? I can't see him." And he's nowhere near. It's just in the shadows, and I think it's one of those guys because obviously I sent that guy to get killed by the.
No, I never got any of that.
I think he was like, I thought he came up to me in the door to like the main city in the second area, and said,
I had that.
We're watching you, and don't put a foot wrong or whatever. And then later on, I'm just walking around, and all I hear is, "We're watching." And I'm like, I don't know if it's a glitch, and it just threw the same line in, or whether it was meant to be like he's like in the trees somewhere, like what the fuck?
Maybe, yeah. He's like under the grass, like.
But it was very much the same voice line, but I was like in the exact same way, and I was just like,
weird. No.
They could have just done it slightly different if it is meant to be him stalking me.
Never. No, I didn't have any.
But nothing came of it. I was like, oh, okay.
No.
Can be watching me that hard.
What are there any big decisions in the first area?
I don't think so.
Before we get on to the other areas,
I think that was the main.
It's hard to remember now.
There's a big decision at the end of every one, and that was that one. The first one. The second one was whether the city gets destroyed or not. Absolutely got destroyed for me.
Well, so that's not the decision. That's just what happens.
The ramifications.
The actual decision.
Decisions,
of what you do, and the actual decision is where you send people. So you sent them to Third Ward, and I also sent them to Third Ward.
Why would you send them to Paradise? Why?
I don't. Yeah.
Wait. What?
Yeah. I don't.
They won't get
I don't
get that. They're just in hiding. Like that's a stupid.
Exactly. Idea. Yeah, I didn't get that either. Because even though Paradise is a nicer place,
but they won't be in the main city just walking around. But they'd be underground hiding. So
Exactly.
Might as well take a chance with the pirates at that point.
In the next area, what did you do
about the ruins?
Yes. What did you do?
I allowed them to destroy the ruins.
You let the steel growth destroy the ruins.
Yes, I did. With good reason.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
Wait, what did you do? The opposite.
So I also let the steel growth destroy the ruins. I still stand by that. That was the correct
It's the right thing
decision.
to do.
I did it on the basis of I am here to literally stop the Dream
Anyway,
Scourge. There's no point in temporarily stopping them now if I'm going
exactly.
to fully stop them later
Exactly.
and sacrifice lives to do it.
Anyway,
So that's why I did what I did.
There's no way I was going to sacrifice like half a fucking thirdborn
Thirdborn, yeah.
potentially to stop the Dream Scourge when I know that's the end game anyway. I'm gonna do it eventually. They can just hold off for a bit. They've been holding off for so long anyway. So yeah. So we both made the same decision there. I wonder what happens I wonder who dies. If
I don't know.
I bet Quilici dies. I just have a feeling Quilici would be one that dies.
Yeah, no, because they're all there. Well, Collegium might not even be there. Like, if you sent him to the other place, you might not have even sent him there. Yeah. There's a few questions in those decisions. Did you see the guy, the old hero, the guy that killed the giant monster that's in Thirdborn? Did you do that quest?
Oh, just put one in the first area. Giant monster.
Oh yeah, go on.
In the gold guy.
The first area.
The gold guy in the first area.
What did you do? What did
Didn't
you do?
Put the thing in the machine. I didn't put it in there, and I killed the gold guy.
You killed the gold guy.
Yeah, and I didn't turn
kill the gold guy.
You didn't kill the gold guy.
No, I didn't kill the gold guy. I managed to convince the gold guy to stop of his own accord.
Oh,
so the way that you do that is you follow him along for a little while, and you do what he says to do, and you let him start up the machine once. Yeah.
Okay.
And the first time he tries to turn it on, after you've got the stuff that he wants you to get, it doesn't work. Again, it doesn't work.
Okay.
And then he's like, shit, I've got to add. Oh, I clearly need to add the soul of a godlike or something similar in order to make it work. And you have the option of doing it yourself or convincing him to do it. So you can kill him by him killing himself. But if you have the right skill trees and stuff, you can convince him that it's never going to work. It was never going to work.
No matter what
he did. It was never going. No matter what you do, it doesn't work.
Oh.
And from that, you can convince him to give up that pursuit and go and help people that have been affected by a disaster in another area. So he's the godlike of the god that caused the Deadfire. Yeah. So I convinced him to go back to where Deadfire happened. Or I think Deadfire is the actual place. I can't remember.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
To go back to Deadfire and help the people that were affected by his god. And so he lived, and then he left to go and help people in Deadfire. And at the end of the game, that's what I got. Is that he left, and even though he didn't, he said even though he didn't make a massive mark on the world, like he didn't bring back his god or anything, because that was his main get. A lot of people remembered him as being like helpful and compassionate and helping them with their recovery from the Deadfire.
He was voiced by Matt Mercer, apparently.
Was he really? I didn't know that.
Because I didn't realise. I was like, I recognise his voice, and I as I always do when I think it's potentially Matt Mercer, I get Kate to listen.
Yeah.
Kate was like, I don't know who this guy is. Googled it. It fucking was Matt Mercer. I was like, Kate, you're losing your powers.
Yeah, absolutely. God. That was probably the best side mission, to be fair.
One of them.
It was really early.
It was weird for me because like I killed him and then my god, Sappadal. I didn't know it was Sappadal at the time. He was like, do it.
Give me the body.
Go on, do it. And I was like, no. I did not trust Sappadal for the longest time. I was like, no.
What did I do? I think I left it for her to have later on.
Okay. Interesting.
I mean, with the way things turned out, she didn't need it, but I think I left it for her to have later on if she wanted it.
Okay.
But at that point, you didn't know anything about Sappadal.
No, I was like, I don't trust this bitch in my head.
Yeah, you're still just a stranger at that point. That's cool.
Okay, what was the one you were on about in the third area? Sorry, before I remembered the gold guy.
Oh god, what was it?
Some guy like soldier dude. I don't know. I can't remember now.
I can't remember now. What was I saying? In the next area, the second
The
area,
third area.
the third area, which is the desert area, isn't it?
Yes, like the pirate area. My blank.
Completely, I've lost it. I've lost it, mate. Completely lost it. Was it?
I can't remember what many of the big decisions in that area. To be fair.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, the hero guy. Yeah. So there's the guy inside Thirdborn. There's an old man.
Oh yeah,
he's
yeah.
the hero.
Yes,
and
the one he wants.
I think his niece.
He wants
nephew.
that thing from like the.
He wants the heart.
Yeah.
The heart of the Leviathan or something.
Yeah, and it's full of traps in the area. Yeah.
What did you do? Did you do that mission?
Yeah.
I gave it him as well.
Yeah.
I was like,
what happens if you don't give it in? You just get to keep it then?
I don't know. I think he just doesn't like you, to be honest.
Oh.
But I give it to him. What did you notice anything else after that? After you gave it to him?
Should I?
So I just off by chance. Like, there's no mission objective or anything to this. But after you've made the major decision for the area, if you go back there, you can't go inside. But he has a window next on the same house. If you go up to the window, you can hear them inside talking to each other. And the nephew goes, "Oh, I knew that the meeting under the hero would make you feel better," and he doesn't go through with it, and he stays alive, but he only does so if you get him what he asked him to do and act like a hero. So he doesn't kill himself.
Oh, that's good.
And he feels better. Yeah. So he doesn't die. So you can feel good about that.
That's good. Happy days.
Yeah. What else was there? Oh, the guys on top of the pub. So, the captain that wanted to get his crew back for the final drink.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember.
What did you do?
I got them all to come back, and I'm pretty sure
me too, yeah.
he poisoned one. No, I didn't get all of them. One of them decided not to come back. I can't remember if he's the woman.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Really? She's the most important one?
Only two of them came back, and then one got poisoned. I can't remember which one, but one got poisoned. Yeah, one got poisoned, which I thought was going to happen anyway. I was like, this is sus. No one trusts this captain dude. He's getting him to come back for a drink. He's clearly going to poison him. And I'm like, but I'm halfway through this quest. I might as well finish it.
Okay, you missed the biggest part of that quest.
Okay.
So I convinced her. I got everyone back. I convinced her, and then she comes up with a plot because she knows that she's going to poison her.
Yeah.
She comes up with a plot to switch to drinks and so he poisons himself. Yeah. But you're the guy that actually gets the drinks from the bar. Two of them have poison. Two of them do not. If you leave it as it is, her and the guy to the far left die, and the captain and the surfer dude is fine. If you switch them, the captain and the surfer dude dies. Or as a third option, we get to mix them all up and everyone dies.
What did you do?
And that's what I did. I killed everyone. I was like, everyone here is abhorrent and a piece of shit person because they're all bad people. They're all pirates. They're all shitty people. I was like, do you know what? You can all be you can all reach your own demise. And then literally for the rest of the game, no bodies were just left there. Like, I went back to there several times and the bodies were all just
body was just constantly there. I'm like, it's not cleaning this bar. Like, what's going on?
Right. I was like, do you know what? That's fine. My character probably wouldn't do this, but I'm me personally, I'm fine with this decision. That's good.
You know what? That's one of the areas. Like, when they have you can have random shit just happen if you're just walking around towns and listening. I just walked underneath this archway, and there was this Romeo and Juliet situation going on where this guy was like,
Did you see that? Did you meet that guy first under the waterfall?
Oh, was he under the waterfall?
Yeah. So there's a waterfall in that area where you go meet him, and he asks you to help him make a poem for his beloved.
That's him. I did do that.
You did do that. Okay, yeah.
Them two together. That's the same fucking guy.
That's him telling the poem to his beloved. That's what you walked on.
That makes sense.
Yeah. It does make sense. So that wouldn't have happened if you didn't speak to him.
Okay. I thought it was just a random thing. I was like, oh, okay.
No.
Or just a random bit of world building.
And what else from that area? There's a bunch of stuff. There's so much stuff which we're going to be missing out. So much stuff. But he said there's a lot that happens in this game. A lot that happens in this game. What about the next area? What happens in the next area? The deserty area? No, that's not the dwarf area. The deserty area. Oh no, that's third board. That third board is the desert area. Sorry, the dwarf area. Yeah.
The mines in the desert area. Did you kill the guy in the mines? Because he was going to blow up the mines, wasn't
he? I told him no, and we fought, and he died.
Yeah, same.
But I told the people outside that he died an honourable death. Same. Yeah.
No, I didn't say honourable. I just said a rock fell on him. Something like that. I
said he fought honourably because he was affected by the dream scourge.
I think I said there was like an avalanche or something because like what's that noise? And I was like, oh yeah, avalanche just like landed on him. Yeah. He's dead.
But I didn't say that he tried to betray them all.
No, I didn't tell that.
Because I didn't think he was like I didn't think he was like right of mind. Because he was everyone there was pretty much affected by the dream scourge. Yeah.
I think that's all the major
what else
stuff in
that
the area. I think.
Yeah. Did you do all of Kai's stuff looking for his looking for his lover's stuff? You did all of that, and you went to see the memorial and all that.
Yeah.
What's
were
the guy's
they lovers, or were they like? Because like I feel like they wanted to be lovers, but they never actually got to that point, and that's what his regret is.
I don't know. They were super gay for each other either way.
They were 100%. But I think the whole point of his thing was his regret of not
carrying it through,
and then obviously leaving him in his deathbed basically because he couldn't deal with seeing him like that. So,
I don't know if they were or not, but my mind canon they were. They just never said that specifically.
I think the way I took it was like they wanted to be, and they were very close to being, but they just didn't get around to it because he got
ill.
He just jumped ship because he got scared. But they definitely had feelings for each other, and apparently,
definitely.
What solidifies the fact that I think Kai was gay is that apparently even if you're a guy character, you can get with Kai at the end of the game. From what I hear, I feel there's one romance, and it is Kai.
You can get with Kai at the end of the game.
Apparently so. It's just a throwaway line like "I like you," blah blah blah. But you have to choose the right dialogue for it throughout the whole game, apparently.
I think I remember that. Yeah, I think I remember that.
I didn't pick it, but like I know that's a thing that can happen.
I think I remember that. I didn't get the impression that was that though. I just thought it was just like best bros, basically, not like lovers. I don't think so. I didn't get that impression. I guess it's down to interpretation.
I guess, yeah.
Because there's no romance in this game. Like,
no, I know they just said that, but like people are like, oh, there's one, and it is Kai. So I'm like, oh, yes.
I think that's interpretation. I don't think that actually is. I think that's people just like hoping for their best Garrus 2.0.
I have to look into it to see what the actual lines that I said are.
Yeah, maybe there's something I missed or something I chose differently. Because I was always pretty.
Because I saw like an option that I thought, oh, that's going to go down that road, but I just didn't pick it because there was an option that I felt was better.
I felt like there probably was romance options at one point, and I didn't make it in.
Didn't make the cut because they weren't ready, and because it was a multiplayer game, and these were the characters you were probably going to go play as instead.
Yeah, exactly.
What else
the dwarven
area. So, did you save the ogre man thing?
I did save the ogre man. I quite like the ogre man
because
he didn't seem like.
He
was dying. He was literally dying. He had like lung cancer or some crazy stuff, and he had no other option to do than what he was doing.
Yeah,
and he didn't hurt anyone, but he just did what he had to do in order to get
things.
And then he came back. He came at the back end of the game, and he was fucking hench. He smacked everyone around. It was great. I saw him. I was like, yeah. Come, this is great. I was very, very happy to see him there.
He was like, I came.
Very, very happy to see him there.
Because you saved my life.
Yeah, exactly. He's a cool guy. I was really happy to see him there. I did do that. Did you? The old man that caused all of Marius' problems. So,
Raz
in the Marius quest.
What's his name?
Yeah, something like that.
Or whatever, yeah.
What did you do with him?
Just left him. Because he was fucking mad
Like,
anyway.
I left him as well because he was beyond like he was
Even
mad. He had,
I was thinking about maybe killing him. I asked Marius, and Marius was like, "He's fucking pathetic. Just fucking leave him." And I was like,
leave him to his
Let's
stew
go.
in his own rottenness. Exactly, he's
Yeah.
not doing anything.
I really liked like Marius' story in the end. I thought that was really interesting with the way that went.
It was good. That stuff.
And when he
about
found,
parents,
it's really sad when he found like the whole fucking circle of like dead skeletons, and he's like, "Oh, that's my mom." And I was like, "Oh no."
I was like, "Is this a fucking UFO cult? This is literally a UFO cult. Is what this is. This is literally a UFO cult." I was like, "This happened. This is real. This happens in real life. People did this in real life."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's funny. Heaven's Gate. It's literally Heaven's Gate.
But it was sad seeing like his best mate at the Dream Scourge as well.
Yeah. But you do see him again later.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know, is that a vision or is that like can we believe that?
I don't. I think that everything that happens in the garden, I think that the people's spirits that you see are actually there. I don't think it's a vision. I think that they're actually there because you're God and you're linked to the Adra, and the Adra in the living land is different to the Adra everywhere else, and your soul gets returned to the Adra when you die. There's nothing stopping that being the actual person.
I think that's really interesting part of the lore. The whole wheel, when you die, you come back around into the.
You reincarnate, different parts of your soul go to different people.
Such a cool idea. Such a cool world. Like probably
it's a very cool world.
Obsidian's best world that they've made.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose like they've been playing in this world otherwise, other than Outer Worlds, because obviously Fallout's in the Fallout world.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. They didn't make that. But Fallout New Vegas is their best. It's so good.
I haven't even finished it, and I will stand there and say it's their best game.
It's insane how good that game is. They just like they took everything from Fallout 3 and was like, let's just do it all better. There you go, job done. What did you do? So let's talk about Sappada.
Well, hang on, we haven't finished the third one yet. What did you let?
No, not third one. The last area. Sorry, yeah, you're right.
Dwarven area. Did you let that woman go? The warden. Did you get her out the city?
Yeah, I got her out. I convinced her to go and fulfill her father's duty. And that was the only way to get her out. And everyone was like, that's some crazy loophole bullshit you pulled there. Well done.
I was like, not an envoy for no reason. I'm basically a diplomat, you know. I can fucking sort this shit out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was quite happy with that one. And she turned up at the end to help as well.
Yeah, same.
But you can only do that if you don't kill any of the people in the camps.
Yeah, which I snuck in. I snuck in the cave. The other area, I snuck in. I got seen. And I was like, I'm just not going to hit anyone. I just run around and just jumped and parkoured up to the thing and then ran off. I was like, yep, I've been seen. But I was like, Kai, they were shooting people. I was like, Kai, don't you fucking kill someone.
Yeah.
But luckily,
that's cool.
As soon as I got further away, they didn't kill anyone, luckily.
What's dumb is I use my invisible ability because you can literally walk past people and as you're invisible. But your companions aren't invisible. So they're just like behind you, just following me. And they're like, staring at them like, yeah, okay, that's cool. All right. That's fine.
No, so people need to fix that in games. Because that's one of the most stupidest things in games when you're doing stealth, but there's a person with you. Like, remember Last of Us when Ellie's fucking walking around and get clearly
blatantly can see her.
It's like, how is that not a thing that in several generations of consoles we haven't fixed yet? You know what I mean?
I know. It's mad.
Sort out your AI, people. What else was there? The keep was the big decision. And
the keep was the big decision. Yeah.
What?
So I said to stay in the keep. Keep the keep.
Yeah.
Don't sell it off to the Adirian Empire. And I saved the keep at the end.
Yeah.
By closing the things. Yes, you have to kill him at the end of things. If you make a decision to save the keep, you have to kill him.
And is this the point where you were disagreeing with Kai?
Yeah. Just keep. I was like,
I
was like, sell it off, and I was like, no, they're allowed to have this.
I get the idea behind it. He wanted his people to go and be free and be able to leave.
Yeah.
So I get the idea, but I was like, it should be their choice. You're literally
Exactly. You
either
can't
way.
take that decision
Like
away from
the
them.
decision's taken away. Either way, like because she's either forcing him
Yeah.
to stay or he's saying you have to leave. And I was trying to find some kind of middle ground, which I didn't really. I did, which we'll get into later. But like
Yeah.
for that one quest, like I was like, well, it's better off to be their choice
Yeah.
instead of being forced to be just out without a home, basically. So yeah, we made the same decision there. I do wonder what happens if you do the other way.
So do I. I mean, because that decision ends up playing out quite well
Yeah.
in the end. The
Yeah.
one that we made, in the ideal circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
There with that, there was. Did you have a big major disagreement, a falling out with Marius at the camp? We had a big fight with Marius. I thought I was gonna lose him.
I don't think you can't lose. You physically can't lose them in this game, which is people are saying is a bit of a broken mechanic because like they can really disagree with you on something, and then the next conversation they're like, "Oh, hi, Envoy." So people are like, "Yeah, this is weird."
You can lose people, but I think it's only at the very last moment.
Oh, okay.
Because you can lose if you side with the Steel Garrote through the whole game and stick by the Steel Garrote, you lose all of your companions because they all disagree with you that much.
Oh, maybe you could.
And I think there's an achievement for that as well. I think that's how I found out. But you can lose all your companions if you stick by the Steel Garrote. I don't know what that kind of end game looks like because that must be so different from everything I did.
I mean, to be fair, like, you say that, but we started with the Steel Garrote in the second one, technically.
We did, but that was the lesser of two evils. That's the problem there.
Oh yeah, but what did you do with? Okay, tell me about the disagreement with Marius first, and then I'll move on to the.
I forget what it even was. What was it about? I think it was just about the keep and stuff about it, and then we figured it out. Like we worked it all out with Giotto and stuff, but he just really wasn't happy about something. I forget. It doesn't matter anyway. I can't remember all that well. What was you going to say?
You know, when you meet with the Steel Garrote and meet with Ludwin, like what happened there? Because obviously,
when
she's telling you got to go kill Sappadal, and then it happened to me where she's telling me I got to kill Sappadal, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll kill her. Yeah, I'll do that. I was just saying. Well, I was kind of having an argument about what I was going to do. I still hadn't made my decision at that point. So I was like, yeah, sure. Just to like kind of get her off my back. And then she basically goes. But then at that point, Sappadal gets angry and then turns all her soldiers into Dream Scourge. And then you have to fight every single one in that area.
Oh, so I disagree. At that point, yeah, this is just after you come out of the you come out of Mines or Cave or something. Yeah. And you see her there. So I was like, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I took like the middle ground road. Yeah. And then we fought.
Okay, so you fought Ludwin. Okay, so I didn't have to do that.
I fought
every single fucking person there otherwise.
I fought Ludwin. Sappadal did get angry and brought back all the Dream Scourge people. I think she gets angry no matter what.
That's a bit annoying. Even though we made
I'm fighting the Dream Scourge and Ludwin at the same time, and I killed Ludwin there. Yeah. She comes back later.
I was gonna say.
And I killed I killed Ludwin there. Yeah. Because you must be like, how the fuck does that work then? I killed Ludwin there, and then I had to kill the Dream Scourge over there, and then I got the power to call my own Dream Scourge.
Oh.
Oh no! I got that later. Sorry.
I was gonna say that's cool.
No, was it there? Was that there? I got that.
I feel like it might be.
I think it was there. I accepted all of the powers from.
Oh, the only one I think I got the one that gave you like stupid, ridiculous stamina, and one that gave you like the little throwing the spike thing. To be fair, like the last one, I think she must have given me something then, because like I didn't say no. I didn't even get a choice. She just gave me the power at that point. So
yeah, I think it is there. I think it is there where I got the power.
Maybe I got that power and I just completely did not use it.
I got the power.
I'm like not turning people. I'm not using my own Dream Scourge. That make me look like the baddie.
Yeah, it's at that point that you find out that she's causing the Dream Scourge.
Yeah, which is when
causing it. Yeah.
Sort of. I was like, I don't know what to do here. It was very like the Sappadal stuff was very like I was like I changed my mind so many times throughout the whole game.
Yeah.
About her.
Yeah.
At first, didn't trust her. Then I started to trust her a bit, and then I'm like, oh no, but you're causing the dreams curse. I'm like, I don't know about this. It's like a whole thing. But should we get on to the garden now and like what you did in terms of Sapphire?
So I think the rest of the garden plays out pretty much the same for anyone.
You find all different things for the
everyone's different. Like exactly. Everyone's a little.
Was it a bit disappointing that the other two companions didn't get anything with that? They got something in there, but they didn't get the red quest. It's a bit annoying, but
I know. I combined with Sapphire into one being.
We did the exact same thing.
Did you? Okay.
The exact same
we played this game the same, didn't we? So I
that did not work out well for us.
I don't know. Yeah, I think some of the stuff that she says at the end of the game, you're like, shit, here we go.
I thought that was going to be my idea behind that was, if I'm partially in there, then I can kind of control it.
You have some influence.
No.
Yeah.
I was wrong. No. I was so wrong.
Yeah.
At that point when you're talking to Ludwig later on, and you're trying to throw your own opinions in, and she's like, no, you got to say this. I'm like, no. And then it's just whittling down the choices you can make until it's just that one. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, you've lost all control.
And Kai's like, you're right. I'm like, can't say anything.
Yeah, you must look like you're freaking out or something.
Yeah.
But
I was kind of hoping that we'd make different decisions just to see what would happen.
I know.
We both boxed up. When I got to the end of that, I was like, well, I fucked that up, didn't I?
I wonder what would happen though if you just let her be, if you released her and just let her be.
That's probably the better option.
I don't know.
I was kind of hoping that you would have done something else. I want to know.
Yeah, no.
I feel like that would have been.
I always knew I wasn't going to kill her. Like I was never going to kill her. I knew there was always going to be.
At one point, I was like, maybe I'll kill her because she seemed very childish and very because she knew, obviously,
naive.
But she seemed very if it's not my way, then everyone's going to get fucking punished for it, kind of thing. She seemed very angry. Obviously, she's been imprisoned, and I was like, oh, maybe it's just
a big part of the game is her making. Did you do all the memories? The memories of the stuff.
I believe so. Yes.
I did all the memories, and a lot of them are about her thrashing out against the.
And I was like,
the people that are living. Yeah, exactly, that's the problem with her. Is that she doesn't realise her own power and how much damage she can do when she has an outburst, basically.
You literally moan at you're saying stuff to her like you caused it. She's like, I didn't mean to. It's just like you're a child.
But you did though. You did though.
You're legit.
And they did it multiple times. Is the problem?
And I'm like,
it's you need to learn from what you're doing.
I was like, what's going to make me think that you're not going to do it again? Like, of course you are.
And you get to have conversations with her after these memories and stuff, and be like, she's saying this. I didn't mean to do it. It's like, no, you need to take some fucking accountability.
Legit.
But no, you need to know what you did was wrong.
Legit.
And she's like, oh, no, that's not my fault. Yes, it is.
It is.
I'm sorry, but when you hold the gun in your hand, when you hold the gun in your hand, it is your fault when it goes off. I'm sorry, it is the truth, the way of the world, and you need to treat it like a child. You do talk to her like a child. But then, don't always like it.
We both made the fatal mistake of merging.
I know, yeah.
I feel like merging isn't necessarily so far bad for the overall world. It's just bad for us. Yeah. I feel like this is kind of like the sacrifice play in terms of we've fucked up ourselves over to save everybody else. But I'm interested. They very clearly when it ends of her saying, I have you now and I'm never going to leave you. And it just ends like that. I'm like, that's so ominous. Yeah. That's so ominous. Yeah. And I hope we get a sequel now.
You've basically become like an immortal being at that point, I imagine. But yeah.
And when she's saying stuff
that woman's never going to get my body now.
When she's saying stuff like, you're going to learn to love me, you're going to make you love me. I was like, it's fucked. This is fucked up. It's just like a toxic fucking relationship, basically.
It's super messed up. And it's you're kind of foolish to think that you could ever overpower an actual god.
We are both
for the whole game, she's basically depicted as Mother Nature, basically. And that's why I didn't want to kill her, because if I kill her, then the living lands will die. And that sounds like a bad outcome. But also, if I release her, she's just going to thrash out and kill loads of people again.
Yeah.
I feel like of the 3 options, this is the least destructive option.
For the world, it's destructive for us because we basically don't
destructive.
exist anymore.
It is destructive. It
then
is
in
destructive
her head, we've like swapped places. Basically, that's what she's leading to. Like, we're in her head now, talking to her, but she's not listening to us because she's a fucking child.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. It's a cool ending, and it's
cool.
Like, it was kind of anticlimactic, but also like cryptic at the same time. I was like, oh, okay, interesting.
When I took her in, I thought I was going to get some mad god powers, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I was like, am I going to get like control of like loads of different things?
Did we get a power? What was the power? I got a power at some point where it was like you're able to like lift people up with like roots and shit, but I never used it. I was like, oh.
Oh, I don't know about that. Oh,
maybe that's what I got.
Every power,
maybe that's what I got instead of the dreams coach thing. Maybe you get different powers depending on what you choose.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I didn't think of that. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It was a bit of a kind of anticlimactic. I was like, oh, is that it? Kind of thing. But like I feel it sets itself up for a sequel or DLC where that makes me wonder though. They're doing DLC. How's that work? Yeah. It must be set before the end of the game. It has to be.
Yeah,
because if you make that choice, how's that going to work? We're just not going to be able to choose what we say.
most games do it that way now.
Yeah,
we're set before the end.
But a sequel would be really interesting because how's that going to work if we play as the same character, or if you don't, you might not. You might just play as a different character in that.
You know what? That's the thing. Look, the Living Lands was kept separate from the rest of the Pillars universe. They could just do that again somewhere else.
Yeah, but I definitely feel like they set it up for a sequel.
Yeah,
especially with the ending we got, because it leaves it very obvious.
I don't know. Maybe in the next game with a bad guy. That'd be cool.
Cool. I felt like we were the bad guy throughout the whole fucking game though, because we're technically from the people who are bad.
Yeah. We've missed big decisions here. So what did you do with the Living Lands? What did you do?
What do you mean? What did I do? Like just like.
What did you do? So, like, you get options. Like, what do you give them to you do in Empire? Do you have like that in between?
In between. Because I felt like it was the best option for everybody.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Because I felt like if they're on their own, they would struggle, and war will come to them eventually. If they're overthrown by the Obsiadian Empire, basically like allowing like the Empire from Star Wars to come and take over, and it's like. They're the bad guys. We're the baddies. So So I felt like having being a vassal of the Empire was. They could work together, and they've got defense from anyone attacking them, like any other empire. Maybe they have to supply some stuff, but like that works out best for everybody, I believe.
I didn't do that. I let the leaders of the place make their own.
What did they make? Because I was thinking about doing that. What did they decide?
So they chose to have a free living land, and they and that was only a couple of them didn't make that choice. Not it wasn't unanimous.
Who didn't make the choice? Obviously, the fucking Obsiadian fucking guy. Because I imagine he'd be like, "Yeah, I want to be."
No, he didn't get a choice. Because he's not the leader of that area.
Yeah,
he's just the ambassador, isn't he? The fish people, the fish person, forget the name. They wanted what you had.
Okay.
And
makes sense though, because they're the pirate people, aren't they? Because they're struggling anyway, so it makes sense that they'd want some sort of support.
Yeah. But everybody else wanted the living lands. So it's Kalichi. Kalichi was sense. One.
He was the most annoyed by the decision I made.
Yeah.
But he was accepting it, but he was just a bit.
And the other dwarf lady was like, yeah, it's got to be the separate living lands. I was like, do you know what?
I don't like that.
I'm just here. I'm just here, but I don't like. I'm not a native of this land. I don't own anything here.
I mean, technically, you are.
This is your decision. Well, yeah, I am. I'm with the god stuff, but it's their lands. Like, why am I making decisions for their lands? So I just left them to it and let them make them.
Yeah, but how did that end in terms of? Because that's
at the very end when you get the breakdown.
End, yeah. What was your breakdown?
Yeah, fine. It was absolutely fine. Everyone seemed happy.
Okay.
They had to figure out like stuff between each other, but they were fine.
Mine was fine mostly. Like one of the things that happened through having the what was it called, the Griffin or something, like the basically the merging, was that the Adirans provided soldiers to help get rid of the rest of the Dream Scourge in the Pirate Land. That was it. Pretty much made much of a difference in terms of them joining together. Everything else pretty much just sorted itself out and was fine. This obviously the city that burned stayed there as a reminder of what happens when war comes. And I'm like, yeah, but you've just joined the people that you had the war with. But you know what we never get? We never get what the Emperor actually wanted to do. We never get that.
Yeah.
So we're always like, yes, but this isn't what the Emperor would want to the Stilgar wrote. But like, we never actually get what he would want.
No, we don't. Whatever the Emperor wants is whatever you want. That's the point.
I guess,
is that you're sent as his actual envoy. You are the voice of the Emperor.
Yeah, I guess.
So it's whatever you say is what the Emperor says. Basically, is how that is meant to work.
I feel like that would be what he would want, because like technically he's got him in control of him, and then technically he's technically not at the same time.
But also, just let them. But then, if a deer ever wants to like attack them themselves and overtake, they can. They have the option. Because as a free land, there's nothing wrong. Well, there is obviously something wrong with them doing that. But there's nothing stopping them doing that.
Yeah.
You know.
But also, I felt like because making the decision I made stopped that from happening, because they still have some sort of freedom. They're not owned by Adirn. They're just a partnership with them, and it kind of stops because they're like in a partnership and they're both gaining stuff from it. I felt like the Adirans wouldn't want to start a war and take over them.
Yeah.
So I felt like this was the best safety net for like everyone in the Living Lands.
I almost did that option, to be honest with you, until I saw the option for let them make their own decision. Yeah. Let them make their own decision. Because
if you had to make the option, if you had to choose and you didn't,
if I had to make the option personally, I probably would have made the same option as you. But the best option was let them make their own choice, because
that's fair.
It's their home.
I get
yeah.
Cool. Overall, very good game.
Yeah.
Very good game.
Great game. Great game.
Not Obsidian's best game, I will say. I think it's the most interesting world they've ever done. But I think
it's better than Outer Worlds. I much prefer this to Outer Worlds.
See, I'm more of a sci-fi guy, so that's just generally gonna be where I
just think it's better made, to be honest.
But in terms of like the story and the conversation, how the conversations work and how much agency you have, I definitely think this is better. It's a step in the right direction. You can definitely tell it's been multiplayer before, which kind of holds it back in some aspects. But like, I'm hoping that when they do, if they ever do an Avowed 2, they won't have that to hold them back, and they'll be able to go fully into the proper single player RPG way of doing things. The problem that I had is because I came off Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 to play this. So
it's a proper RPG.
So I was just like, it feels a bit basic compared to something like that. But that's my own fault, really. But I think I feel like as a very easy to play, just a fun time RPG rather than a serious, like, long slog. Even though it is a bit longer than I expected it to be, and I think maybe it overstates welcome a tiny bit.
I don't think you have to. I don't think it has to be that long.
But no, it doesn't have to
be.
But I don't know how you would go through that game without
like,
doing all the fucking side shit. Like, the exploration and the side shit's the best bit about the game. Like, if you just do the main story, like, a lot of people have like complained about this game, and I think if you do the main story and rush through it, you're not getting the best of the game. You're not getting what is good about this game if you're just rushing through the story, or even just not exploring. Exploring's the best bit. Like, the lands that you explore are the best, most interesting bit, and they're really well realised and fun to look around and explore. So and the story's interesting, and the world is very good.
It's a good game. Yeah, it's a great game overall. To be fair,
solid 8 out of 10.
I do recommend it for sure. Yeah, no, for sure. I had a great time playing it.
I don't think it's going to be winning any game of the year, but I think it's still a solid good time, especially on Game Pass. If you got Game Pass, it's definitely worth giving a shot.
Such good value for Game Pass, yeah.
Game Pass getting those good games now. Like, this year's probably a banger for Game Pass, to be fair.
It's getting a bunch of stuff, isn't it?
South of Midnight coming soon, like Doom, Obsidian remake, apparently. That's going to be interesting.
Oblivion, you mean?
What did I
Oblivion
say?
remake.
Obsidian.
Obsidian
on the
remake,
mind.
yeah.
Oblivion remake. Sorry.
Oh no, yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
That's
in
apparently
a different
meant
engine
to
as
be
well.
announced next month and come out next month.
Well, and released next month as well,
good.
yeah, which is
They've
very
got
cool.
a fucking big month in April.
They do.
They got like Claire Obscura Expedition 33 as well at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Game
That's
Pass
coming out as well.
I feel like Game Pass is actually finally getting its like constant stream of like content to play.
Yeah.
Every month you're getting something, at least a couple of games that are cool. Like whereas before it was a bit slow going, but you finally get your money's worth now, I think.
I agree. It's good. Like it's a good step of a Game Pass, and
what's crazy is in terms of Game Pass, we only know what's coming up to May because Doom's the last.
We don't know what's coming after.
We don't know what's coming after, and they've got the June showcase. So like clearly, other than we've got Ninja Gaiden in October. That's coming to Game Pass.
I'm hoping for Gears. Get that Gears of War collection.
Gears collection.
There's
rumours of E-Day coming this year. I just don't see it happening. I don't.
We've not seen anything.
Yeah, unless they just literally
the
blow
trailer.
it out
Unless
they do a massive blowout of it in June, and then it's coming.
Maybe.
But then again, I feel like Xbox do that a lot these days, where they just like they show a game and then like a few months later it's out. So
yeah, maybe. Imagine it's released
because Fable's delayed to next year, which makes sense.
Yeah.
We got Outer Worlds 2 the end of this year as well. That'll be on Game Pass.
This year as well?
That's this year as well, which is crazy because it's the same fucking company.
Avowed and Outer Worlds 2 coming out the same.
But then again, Avowed was meant to be last year. To be fair.
Yeah, good push, mate.
I feel like some of these games are going to get pushed next year anyway. Because as soon as that GTA 6 release date gets announced, if it is this year, everything moves.
Yeah.
If it's not this year, everything stays where it is.
Yeah. We'll see, yeah, because everything just wants to get out of the way.
Yeah. But yeah.
Cool.
That was Avowed.
There we go. That was Avowed. We've probably missed out a ton of stuff, but that's fine.
Probably. There's so much choices and stuff in that game, but like
go play it and find out for yourself. Yeah.
It's definitely one that you could play it very differently to someone else and you can end up with a completely different world.
Exactly. Unless you're us and we played it basically the same.
We made some different decisions, but yeah, mainly, yeah. I was hoping we'd make some big different decisions at the end, but we made the exact same one.
Yeah, but then it's replayability. Then you can get back into it and make all the different decisions and see for yourself how it's different.
There's people I know that have played this game for like 80+ hours, and I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing? I haven't even finished it yet." I'm like, "How?" I mean, I explored, but like
I did everything.
You know what I mean? I got 52 hours, and I explored pretty much as much of the map as I could. So
I feel like I did everything. I can't think of anything else to do, to be honest.
But
yeah,
that was Avowed. Cool. Let us know in the comments what you think of Avowed and the decisions that you made. Whether you made the exact same one as us.
Yeah.
But
on the team.
Yeah, like and subscribe and all that jazz, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Cool. See you, bye.